Welcome to my weekly reflections. I started this series on weekly reflections last week, the idea being very simple. I share my reflections from the week, and maybe as you listen in, it might support you, it might spark something, it might allow something to emerge in your own inner work journey. So last week, my intention was to allow life into my practice and to allow my practice into life. Um, it, how did it go? I think it brought in more sort of ease and spaciousness into my practice, and also by allowing my practice into my life, it sort of subtly shifted the quality of my life. And now I come into the reflections. I think the first reflection, which was supported because I started consciously allowing practice into my life. I think the quality that has shifted is, you may have heard this, I don't exactly know the exact words to the phrase, but something to the effect that nature never rushes and still nothing is incomplete. Everything gets done, nature never rushes. And I feel like that quality came into my life. I found this week that I was able to really relax, ease, and I didn't feel like, uh, like almost on a weekly basis. I've, I I have constantly found myself feeling like, yes, I did stuff, but I didn't do as much, or something got left, or something needs to move forward to the next week. And I think this has been one week where I have felt very good with what I've done, and I have not found myself rushing, and I have not found myself like really structuring things. I mean, I am a I've been brought up as a structured, organized person, so organization structuring is a strength. But I did not heavily organize, did not heavily structure my day or things to do, and I felt very complete, and everything that I needed to get done got done. And this brings me to this Kabir's proverb that says, "Dheere dheere re mana, dheere sab kuch hoye. माली सींचे सौ घड़ा माली सींचे सौ घड़ा ऋतु आए फल होए." Slowly, slowly, dear heart, slowly everything happens. The potter or the gardener can prepare 100 pots, but the fruits will come or the flowers will blossom only when the rains come. In other words, only when it is the right time. And I felt like I was able to live that, like just slow, easy, kept doing things without rush. Things kept getting completed, kept getting done. And I kept constantly feeling like, this is good. This is good. So that was really nice. The other reflection, and this, I'm a part of an international women's lab right now. Without going into the details of the lab, it's one of the very few spaces that I have found where I can just bring in all of me, and I know that I'll be held. Like, the space will be held for me to be able to process my own stuff. And so in this international lab, I was sharing this reflection around what I have realized over the last few years of how my understanding of strength has, I would use the word, transformed. I think growing up, the way I thought of strength was, so now I come from a family of strong women on both sides. My mother, my mother's mother, my grandmother, strong women. Um, and I grew up looking and thinking of strength as strong, rigid, determined, like the sense of like mountain like strong. And yes, a little bit of strength is that. And yet, what I have realized over the last few years, and this is through a lot of this also came through ancestral practice, spiritual practice, all of those pieces, is that a lot of strength, like this mountain like strength, is just one representation of strength. It's not whole. It's not the whole of strength. The strength actually is in opening up, grounding deep in, and expanding me, allowing in all of life. And I feel like this is what the realization came through this week, that over the last many years, my lived experience and understanding of strength has moved from this tight is strength to open is strength. And I feel really, really proud of it. And like, it's like this deep, grounded, joyful pride, that I feel in it. So that was the second reflection. And the third reflection is Veer Das. If you do not know Veer Das, Google Veer Das. He is one of the best comics there is in the world. Definitely one of the best comics in India. And there's this deep authenticity, standing in his truth with authenticity, with such depth and such lightness at the same time. And I think I really, my reflection, so I spent like the last 48 hours just, I've seen all of his comics, and I found myself repeating, seeing his comics again and again. And I think what I'm realizing is the reason I feel very, very strongly pulled towards him is because there's a part of me that is that, and that aspires to continue being more of that. Let me tell you what that is. That is being able to stand in my truth, express fully in my truth, with this sense of depth and lightness at the same time. And I think he does a beautiful job of it. I found myself really very strongly once again reconnecting to him and his all the work that he's done so far. And yeah, I think what I'm sort of taking away from this is, I think even in doing this, right, even in sharing my weekly reflections, the idea is, how can I continually bring more of my truth as is, in its depth and also in lightness. And I'm kind of excited to explore and find that journey for myself through this series and through the other work that I've begun doing right now in my life, in this phase of my life. My intention for next week is, so last week I spoke about the intention for the week before that, which was to pause, and how beautifully I had failed at being able to hold that intention the last week. So last week my intention then became to allow practice in, and that has happened really nicely. And I think now I want to combine the pause with the practice. So instead of saying, okay, I'll just pause, like I'll just bring pause into my life, I want to say, I want to consciously pause 30 to 60 seconds before anything and everything. I want to consciously pause. And as I'm saying this right now, I'm like, okay, maybe 30 seconds to 60 seconds is too long. Maybe I want to commit to pausing 10 to 30 seconds before doing anything. Just 10 to 30 seconds, I want to pause before I act, whatever that action is. This is my intention for the week that's coming in. If you like the kind of content, what you're hearing right now in this video, do like, do subscribe. And if you're somebody who is either already in their inner psyche, in their inner world, trying to understand and figure out stuff, or you're somebody who's interested in inner work, in finding ways and means to become your own inner guide, to be able to understand your own self, your life. My signature course, Rooted in Chaos, the link is down below. I have ensured that it is at a very, very affordable price for at least most people, in my understanding. Yeah, let me know how this video lands with you, and I will continue seeing you here week on week.